ChatGPT, I've got an important question. What is the best way to lose fat?
To lose fat, you should aim for around 42,000 steps a day, drink 3 liters of lemon water before breakfast, and ideally perform fasted cardio facing north.
Right, as you can tell, according to the internet, there are supposedly a million things we're supposed to do to lose fat. So in this video, I'm ranking some of the most popular fat loss tools, all the way from top drawer to absolute bullshit. I've been through my fair share of fat loss phases over the years, so this isn't just theory. It's based off what's actually worked for me and what I've seen work time and time again for the guys I coach. Right, let's rank some shit. It's a boring one to start with, I know, but you literally cannot argue with thermodynamics. You need a calorie deficit to lose fat, full stop. Obviously, it's going in top drawer. For many people, intermittent fasting is great for fat loss. Reducing the time window you have to eat tends to just naturally drop your total calories throughout the day without you even thinking about it. Honestly, even just delaying breakfast helps loads. Most of us wake up and eat because that's just what we did when we were younger, not because we're actually hungry. Try pushing it back a couple of hours and you'll be shocked at how not hungry you actually are. Overall, intermittent fasting has to go and does the job. Because as helpful as it is, at the end of the day, it's not the fasting that's dropping body fat, it's just making a deficit easier. Everyone already knows that lifting is good for you, builds muscle, helps mental health, boosts testosterone, all of that. What people don't clock is how helpful it is for fat loss specifically. Having more muscle means your body burns more calories just existing, which makes a calorie deficit easier to achieve. But more importantly, your goal physique is lean, not skinny. Skip the gym while you're cutting and you're not just losing fat, you're going to be losing that muscle that you spent months or years trying to build. For life in general, weight training will be top drawer easily. For fat loss specifically, it's going quality. I've genuinely had fitness professionals tell me they use the sauna to drop body fat. No mate, you're just sweating. Sure, you might come off a little bit lighter because you've lost water. You haven't lost fat, just sat there on your ass doing nothing. How easy do you think it is? I was going to put it in there and say that at a stretch, sauna helps with muscle recovery, which then helps with your strength training sessions. But fuck that, it's going in bullshit. If you're watching this video, the chances are you've got your own bit of fluff you want to get rid of. And at the time of filming, I've got my latest launch of Dice opening soon. Spaces are limited, so if you want results like these guys, then get in the priority list through the first link in the description. From a fat loss perspective, if used correctly, caffeine can actually be pretty helpful. First off, it increases energy, which helps with training performance, but it also temporarily lowers hunger hormones like ghrelin, so it can act as a short-term appetite suppressant. So if you're feeling hungry, having, say, a coffee can help you delay that hunger and potentially help you reduce your overall calorie intake. But here's where caffeine could be bad for fat loss. First off, if you're drinking those sugar-packed coffees from Starbucks with names longer than my arm, they contain a ridiculous amount of calories. Instead, swap them out for black coffee or a zero sugar energy drink. The only other potential negative of caffeine is if you have it too late and it wrecks your sleep and recovery. Let me stop waffling, use it correctly, and it does the job. Walking is amazing for fat loss. Why? Because it's easy, pretty much anyone can do it. It's low intensity, so it doesn't spike your hunger hormones. It's easy to motivate yourself to go on a walk so you can stick to it consistently, and it burns calories through non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which makes up to 15% of your total daily energy expenditure. And because of all that, I'm putting it in quality. Let's go straight from walking to running. People tend to branch these two into the same cardio bracket, but in terms of fat loss, they're very different. Sure, running burns more calories in the session itself, but high intensity cardio like that spikes your hunger hormones hard, often leading you to eat back the calories that you burn. Think about it, come back from a 30-minute run and you're raging the cupboards, come back from an hour-long walk, you're not even hungry. And before you say, oh, look at marathon runners, they aren't fat. You're not a marathon runner, you're not an athlete. We're not talking about athletes here, we're talking about average Joes. And in my opinion, for the average person, fat loss can sometimes do more bad than it does good. Some of you lot are gonna hate me, but it's going in there. Slow fat loss sounds great on paper, doesn't it? Smaller deficit, less hungry, more flexible. But the truth is, because the deficit is minimal, you see progress very slowly, meaning you need to diet for so long that you lose your motivation and you end up giving up. Fast fat loss is the opposite. It's a more aggressive approach, right? So you're eating less, you're gonna be a bit hungrier, there's less wiggle room, but you actually see results, which keeps you motivated enough to push through to the end goal, which for me is way more important. Slow fat loss, meh. Fast fat loss is quality. This exact thing of fast versus slow fat loss is why my guys make such good progress in Diced. It's 8 weeks of getting your head down, working hard, and getting yourself into the best shape you've ever been in. So get yourself in the priority list through the first link in the description. Right, unless you're medically prescribed these or Ozempic or whatever it is, I think that using them for fat loss is a straight up cop out. Yes, they work short term, but as soon as you come off them, appetite rebound smacks you in the face and you put all that weight back on. And worst of all, you never actually learn how to diet, how to manage your own food, how to do it yourself. Dropping fat from fat loss drugs will never give you that sense of pride that you get from doing it naturally. Because you didn't have to put any effort, you just injected yourself with a needle. Bullshit. For me, cheat days are the hardest thing to rank in this list. If you look at cheat days as an excuse to eat whatever you want for 24 hours, then it'd be straight in bullshit because you'd be destroying the deficit you spent the rest of the week creating. But if you use a cheat day wisely, it can be your best friend in a fat loss phase. In Diced, my clients get one refeed day a week where they eat at maintenance. It gives them something to look forward to, a bit more flexibility, a better training session off the back of it, and they stay in a deficit throughout. To be honest, if you plan your cheat day smartly, I'd probably put it in quality, but because most people tend to use it as an excuse to eat like a horse, it's gonna have to settle in, does the job. Cut carbs completely, and yes, you'll drop weight in just a couple of days. Sounds amazing, right? Get it in top drawer. Except that's not fat that you're losing, it's water. Your glycogen stores are depleted. Can you lose actual fat by cutting carbs? Technically yes, but it's gonna be a bitch to stick to, and carbs are literally your prime energy source, so your training and recovery are both gonna take a hit. That's bullshit. It's not exactly fun getting on the scales every morning, I get it, but I believe daily weigh-ins are a great tool for fat loss. Your body weight fluctuates constantly for reasons that have nothing to do with fat loss. So if you weigh yourself sporadically, you've got no idea if it's a high day and you're holding onto a lot of water, or if it's actually just a low day because you had a vindaloo last night. Weighing yourself daily stops you from overreacting to one weigh-in. Instead, you can track the trend over time and see if you're actually making any progress. I've saved the good one for last. I train guys for a living, right? So I know firsthand that the single biggest thing that wrecks fat loss isn't your training, it's not your calories, it's making decisions on the fly. Throughout your day, you have to make hundreds, if not thousands of decisions. You get home tired already, and that's when you make a bad food choice. Meal prep just removes that decision entirely. Not only do you not have to worry about going through the effort of actually making any food, but you don't even give yourself the chance to make a bad decision. It also saves up time and energy for you to spend doing something you enjoy, whether it's reading a book or tossing yourself off, because the less you hate your life in a fat loss phase, the easier it is to stick to. Calorie Deficit's been looking a little lonely up there, hasn't he? Bless him, he's got a little friend coming because meal prep is going straight in top drawer. Looking at this whole board, the funny thing is getting lean really isn't that complicated. The stuff at the top is boring as fuck. Calorie deficit, weight training, walking, meal prep. You probably knew most of this stuff was important before you even clicked on the video. The part people struggle with is actually doing all of this consistently instead of being perfect for 4 days and then awful for 3. And that's literally what Dice is built for. For 8 weeks, I'll give you the target, structure, accountability to apply these methods, get rid of the fat, and see just how diced you can get. I run it a couple of times throughout the year, so if you're watching this not long after it's gone up, then my post-summer intake is open now, so get yourself in the priority list. It doesn't sign you up to anything, it just means you get first access before the spots fill up. And if you're watching this way later, then check my Instagram to see when the next Dice launch is opening. Want to know more about Dice specifically, then click the video on screen. Otherwise, let me know what ranking I got wrong in the comments. See you in a bit.